Hello! You already save a lot of money every year thanks to our videos, so save on car parts too. Buy them on the Mr. Auto app. Shipping is free.
Turn your engine off and pull up the handbrake. In order to make changes to the control arms on your vehicle, you must lift the front of the car and remove the wheels. This will give you full access to the suspension system. Loosen the stud bolts on the front wheels, raise the front of the vehicle, and put it in the 2-axle stands. We strongly suggest watching the tutorial, racing your vehicle safely before carrying out this step. You will then be able to take off the wheels. Don't forget to slide them under the vehicle, so that you can fully access the control arms. Start by removing the lower part of the mudguard. Using a socket wrench and a T25 socket, release the screws. Using a small screwdriver, now remove the plastic clips by levering them off on the locking piece. With a 60mm spanner, a socket wrench and a 60mm socket, release the screw on the lower suspension ball joint. Place the lug nut at the end of the screw, then use a hammer to release the screw, which can sometimes get stuck on the pivot. Remove the lug nut, which will have served as protection so as not to damage or deform the threading, then remove the screw. Now you must separate the suspension ball joint from the pivot. To do this, you must use a ball joint separator, which is a specific tool created just for this purpose. Position the tool on the ball joint, then hit it with a hammer. You can now separate the ball joint from the pivot. Then, using a socket wrench, a Torx E18 socket, and an 18mm spanner, loosen the holding screws on the arm. Remove them. You can now remove the control arm. Before putting in the new control arm, grease the holding screws. This will make it easier to reassemble them and will avoid them getting stuck. Put in the new control arm. Then put in the holding screws. Now reassemble the ball joint suspension in the pivot. Don't forget to grease it beforehand. Using a jack, put slight pressure on the control arm in order to align the second holding hole with the car's chassis. Lever in the second screw. put the screw for the suspension ball joint in place. Then tighten it using a 60mm spanner, a socket wrench and a 16mm socket. Now tighten the two holding screws on the arm with a socket wrench, a Torx E18 socket and an 18mm spanner. Put the plastic cover back on. Now you can put the wheels back on your vehicle. Put your vehicle back on the ground and fix the wheels in place properly. Operation completed.